Let's get something straight. Women are not as mysterious as they pretend to be. Complicated? Absolutely. But impossible to understand. Not even close. The truth is, every woman, no matter how confident, composed, or cryptic, has emotional weak spots. Hidden soft buttons that, when pressed with precision, bypass all the noise and get right to her core. And no, I'm not talking about manipulation. I'm talking about awareness, stoic awareness. Because while other men are exhausting themselves trying to be charming or endlessly agreeable, you'll be the one standing calm, collected, and dangerous in all the right ways. In this video, we're diving into the top 9 female weaknesses every man must know. Not to play games, but to stop being played. Some of these will surprise you, some will make you smirk, and a few might just explain a breakup you never understood. So buckle in, because what you're about to learn will flip the script on everything you thought you knew about attraction. If you're tired of confusion and ready for control, hit that subscribe button. This isn't about being the nice guy. This is about becoming the right man, the one no woman forgets. Let's dive in. Number 1, confidence that doesn't ask for permission. Here's something most men never realize until it's too late. What truly draws a woman in isn't noise, it's presence. Studies in behavioral psychology show that people naturally mirror the emotional baseline of whoever they're interacting with. Now think about that in the context of attraction. If you bring neediness, insecurity, and over-explanation into the room, she absorbs that frequency, and what you project is what she withdraws from. But if you walk in with calm, grounded, unshakable confidence, the kind that doesn't need to be announced, it doesn't just attract, it disarms. That's the real weakness. Not flashy confidence, not performance, but the kind of self-possession that doesn't flinch in silence, doesn't collapse when she pulls away, and doesn't need external permission to feel worthy. Most men over-talk, over-promise, and over-give, trying to prove they're good enough. They smother her with validation, not realizing that the more they chase, the less she feels. Because here's the paradox. She only feels safe when you stop seeking her approval. That's what Stoicism teaches you. To hold the line, to act, not react, to remain steady in the face of tests, mood swings, and mind games. A woman's deepest emotional craving isn't control, it's containment. She wants to feel your solidity, not dominance, but direction, not noise, but stillness. When you're able to sit in discomfort without being shaken, when you're able to remain composed without shrinking, you send a message louder than any compliment could. You're not here to win her over. You're here to stand on your own ground and invite her to join you, not carry her. That's not just attractive, that's addictive. And most men never get there because they're too busy proving instead of becoming. Confidence is not posture, it's internal silence. And when you master that, she leans in, not because you pushed, but because you didn't need to. That's the kind of energy that owns the room, and the memory. Number 2, being understood without explaining everything. There comes a point in life, especially as we age, when emotional exhaustion replaces emotional outbursts. Not because we no longer feel, but because we've learned the cost of explaining ourselves to people who never intended to listen. For many women, especially those who've carried emotional weight their entire lives, silence becomes a defense. Not a peaceful one, but one born out of fatigue. The fatigue of being dismissed, misread, or labeled as difficult for simply expressing their inner world. And this is where most men fail, not out of cruelty, but out of distraction. They're too busy planning a response, fixing the problem, or avoiding discomfort to recognize what's really going on in front of them. But the man who can pause, who can look into her distance and not demand clarity but hold presence, that man disarms her without a word. I once knew a woman, in her late 60s, who had weathered 2 marriages and buried more pain than she let on. She told me the moment she fell in love again wasn't during a romantic gesture or grand conversation. It was when a man noticed she wasn't herself and simply chose to sit beside her. No advice, no probing, just silence with warmth. That was the first time, she said, she felt seen in years. The Stoics taught that wisdom is found not in speech, but in perception, in sensing without needing control, in observing without judgment. That's the skill modern men have lost, and yet it's exactly what today's women crave. The ability to be felt, not analyzed, to be understood without performance. If you want to know one of the deepest emotional openings in a woman's heart, it's not grand displays or clever lines. It's quiet, consistent attentiveness. It's your capacity to witness her pain without shrinking or fixing. It's your strength to hold space, not answers. And in a world that constantly rushes to speak, the man who learns to feel without reacting becomes unforgettable, not for what he says, but for how deeply he listens. Number 3, masculine silence in the right moments. There's a kind of silence that heals and a kind that destroys. One feels like abandonment, the cold shoulder, the calculated distance meant to punish. But the other, the kind that radiates from a man who has mastered his emotions, that's a different force altogether. That silence is presence, and very few men reach the maturity to embody it. Most, when confronted with emotional tension, panic. They overtalk, overjustify, over-explain, thinking that noise equals control. But in reality, it only reveals emotional instability. A man who reacts to every provocation shows that his inner world is still under construction. And women? They notice. Not consciously always, but viscerally. They feel the cracks in your calm. They sense when your silence is fear, not strength. But a man who holds his tongue, not out of pride but principle, who chooses stillness when others rush to speak, that man is operating on another level. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Silence isn't about retreating, it's about standing your ground without wasting energy on chaos. When a woman tests you, when emotions run hot, when a conversation turns manipulative, your greatest weapon isn't your words, it's your restraint. The discipline to pause, to breathe, to feel the storm without becoming it. Seneca said, "Speech may be silver, but silence is gold when it is timely." And this couldn't be more relevant for men navigating the emotional weight of relationships. The more you speak reactively, the less power your words carry. But when your silence comes from grounded awareness, not avoidance, it commands attention. It commands respect. She may not understand it immediately, but she will feel it. And in a world drowning in noise, that kind of presence is magnetic. So stop equating stillness with weakness. True masculinity doesn't panic under pressure, it anchors. You don't need to win every argument, you need to win your peace. And sometimes that begins with saying nothing at all. Number 4, deep eye contact that doesn't flinch. There's something ancient about the way a man holds another's gaze, something primal that doesn't require words, posture, or charm. Deep, unbroken eye contact is a forgotten art. Not the polite glance you give when you pass someone at the grocery store. I'm talking about eye contact that holds its ground, that stays a second longer when most people look away. That subtle second is everything. It's where self-respect lives, it's where fear hides. And sadly, it's where most men flinch. I remember a retired Navy officer I once met during a veterans storytelling night at a local hall. He was in his late 70s, had that quiet, steel-eyed presence that didn't ask for attention, it commanded it. While younger men filled the room with noise and nervous laughter, he sat in silence, not withdrawn, not aloof, just deeply there. When someone spoke to him, he didn't rush to answer. He just looked, fully, calmly, and that moment of stillness would often unnerve the speaker more than any words could. That was his strength. His gaze wasn't aggressive, it was honest. It said, "I have nothing to prove. I've already seen more than you know." Stoic philosophy teaches that strength begins when we stop reacting and start observing. Most men lose power because they can't sit still in their own skin. When a woman looks at them, really looks, they retreat into overthinking, self-doubt, or the need to fill the silence. They try to perform instead of just being. But women notice. They don't say it out loud, but they feel it. That flicker in your eyes, that shift in your shoulders. It tells them if you're solid or just pretending. The truth is, deep eye contact is not about seduction. It's about self-mastery. When you can hold her gaze without needing to win her over, without needing her approval, you stop being another man in the room. You become the one she remembers. Because your stillness says what your words never could. I am grounded. I am enough. I am not here to chase. I am here to witness. And in a world full of noise, the man who can meet her eyes and stay still becomes unforgettable. Not because he impressed her, but because he didn't flinch. Number 5, the need for mysterious depth. Here's a psychological fact that might surprise you. Studies show that people are more attracted to those who reveal themselves slowly, not manipulatively, not by playing games, but by allowing mystery to build naturally through restraint and presence. In a world where everything is overshared, the man who doesn't hand out his whole identity in the first conversation becomes magnetic. And yet, most men get mystery all wrong. They confuse it with avoidance. They think disappearing, giving half answers, or being emotionally unavailable somehow makes them intriguing. But that's not mystery. That's immaturity wearing cologne. Real mystery, true masculine mystery, comes from depth. It doesn't hide behind a mask. It rests in quiet confidence. A man grounded in Stoic principles doesn't need to explain himself to be understood. He knows that what matters most isn't the noise he makes, but the weight of his presence. Women aren't drawn to men who vanish and reappear. They're drawn to men who feel like chapters they want to read slowly. Men who choose their words carefully, who reveal meaning over time, who don't let the world consume them in the first sitting. The Stoics called this self-containment. It's not emotional isolation. It's the refusal to pour yourself out just to earn someone's curiosity. In practice, this means speaking when there's substance, not just for attention. It means being fully present without handing over your whole story as a resume of your worth. You become someone who listens more than you talk, answers only what matters, and leaves room for discovery. And that space you leave, that's where attraction grows. Not because you're hiding something, but because you've finally stopped trying to be understood all at once. Mystery isn't about being hard to reach. It's about being rich enough within that others want to reach you. And when you live like that, not to manipulate but to protect your soul, every word carries more weight. Every silence becomes a choice. And every interaction leaves an echo. If you've been oversharing to feel seen or trying too hard to prove you're real, stop, breathe, reclaim your stillness, and let people earn the right to go deeper. Type it in the comments now. I lead with depth, because from now on, you don't need to be mysterious. You just need to be whole. Number 6, her soft spot for a man with purpose, not just passion. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That line hits harder the older you get, because at some point, all the noise, the ambition, the fire, the excitement, it starts to fade if it's not rooted in something deeper. Let's clear this up once and for all. A lot of men believe passion alone is enough. They think if they talk loud, dream big, and chase constantly, that's what makes them impressive. But the truth, passion without direction is just chaos, fire without a hearth, intensity without aim. And women might be drawn to the energy for a moment, but it's not what makes them stay. What grounds her, what actually moves her, is purpose. Passion is emotional fuel. Purpose is structural integrity. Passion gets you going. Purpose keeps you going when everything else breaks down. Most men talk about what excites them. Few walk daily toward what grounds them. That's the man she remembers. That's the man she trusts. The Stoic man doesn't live by hype. He doesn't need applause or validation to show up and do the work. He wakes up with questions, not distractions. What is mine to control today? What can I shape with focus, not just force? That's what separates him from the rest. He's not volatile, he's aligned. She doesn't want the guy who needs her approval to keep moving. She wants the man who would move the same way with or without her watching. That's what creates trust. That's what turns a man into something unshakable. And the paradox? The less you chase approval, the more powerful your presence becomes. Because when you stop burning fast for attention and start burning slow with discipline, she feels it in your posture, in your calm, in your clarity. So if you've been mistaking movement for meaning, if you've been chasing passion spikes thinking that will impress her, stop. Anchor your energy. Ask yourself, what am I building that would matter even in silence? That's purpose. And that's what she craves, even if she can't put it into words. Type it below. I move with purpose and mean it. Because you don't need to sell who you are when you live it. Number 7. Her hidden yearning to be led without being controlled. Let me tell you a story that stuck with me, not because it was loud or dramatic, but because of what it revealed about real masculine leadership. I once watched an older couple at a small-town train station in Virginia. They must have been in their 70s. The woman was visibly upset, bags slung over her shoulder, voice sharp, clearly anxious about a delay. But the man, he didn't argue. He didn't dismiss her concerns. He simply looked at her, nodded, gently took the bags from her shoulder, and said nothing. He led her with silence, calm, and presence. Not once did he try to fix her feelings. But in that small act, you could see the shift. Her posture softened, her voice quieted. She exhaled. That's not dominance, that's direction. And she trusted it. That moment captured what most men miss. True leadership isn't barking orders or trying to out-talk emotion. It's about creating an atmosphere where a woman feels safe enough to stop performing, to stop leading everything herself. And in today's world, where many women have spent decades holding it all together, that's more than rare. It's sacred. So when I tell you women yearn to be led, I'm not talking about control. I'm talking about clarity, about presence, about the man who doesn't crumble when things get messy, the man who doesn't need to win arguments, doesn't chase comfort. He holds the room steady, he leads with calm, and in doing so, he becomes unforgettable. If that resonates, type it below. I lead through calm, not because you need to say it, but because it's time to be it. Stick around. What's next is a force even quieter than leadership, and far more magnetic. Number 8. Her vulnerability to words that paint new worlds. Here's a fact that might surprise you. Studies in cognitive neuroscience show that women retain emotionally charged language longer than neutral content. Not just in memory, but in emotional response. That's not about manipulation. It's about resonance. And if you understand how deep that connection runs, you start to realize something most men completely miss. Your words matter more than you think. Let's get one thing straight. It's not about reciting clever lines or pretending to be poetic. That kind of performance wears thin fast. Real power in communication comes from presence. When you're fully in the moment, grounded, and your words aren't driven by the need to impress, but by clarity. Women don't respond to perfection. They respond to language that reflects depth. A sentence delivered with stillness, intention, and emotional insight can cut through her walls faster than 100 flashy compliments. Stoicism trains this kind of inner clarity. A Stoic man doesn't speak to be heard. He speaks because he's aligned. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Extend that. Her mind becomes dyed with the color of your words. If you bring presence, insight, and emotional intelligence into how you speak, you become unforgettable. You don't just fill silence. You paint internal landscapes. So ask yourself next time you speak, are you shaping her inner world or just passing through it? Type it below. I speak with vision. And stay tuned. What's next speaks louder than words, and it might be the most magnetic thing you'll ever master. Number 9. The unspoken need for a man who can walk away. Let me tell you a story about Andre, a 61-year-old former Marine I met in a quiet community library. Andre wasn't the loudest guy in the room. He wasn't even the most talkative. But there was something about his presence that felt different. Steady, grounded. You could feel it even before he spoke. I remember sitting across from him as he told me about Linda, a woman he met after years of being widowed. She was vibrant, fiercely independent, and used to handling everything herself. But when she was with Andre, something shifted. Not because he tried to lead her or impress her. In fact, he said very little, but he listened, fully. When she vented, he didn't interrupt with advice. He let her storm settle against the stillness of his silence. And over time, something incredible happened. Linda softened. She stopped talking like she was fighting the world. She touched his arm more. She laughed differently. Why? Because Andre didn't flinch. His presence was her safe space. And that's the key. Emotional safety isn't about fixing problems. It's about creating space where she doesn't have to protect herself. That's the kind of man a woman trusts with the parts of herself no one else sees. Not because he asked for them, but because he earned them, with stillness, with presence, with inner command. The kind of command that doesn't react to drama, doesn't fold under pressure, doesn't try to out-talk the storm. It just is. You don't unlock her softness by demanding it. You don't get there by lecturing, pleasing, or fixing. You get there by showing, through calm, consistent presence, that no matter how loud the world gets, you remain unmoved. Not emotionally distant, emotionally untouchable. That's Stoicism in action. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Be the space where she exhales. Be the man who never needs to say, 'You can trust me,' because she feels it in how you sit, how you breathe, how you respond when her chaos shows up." If this resonates with you, type it in the comments below. I create safe space. Because in the end, the man who earns her softness isn't the one who pushes. It's the one who holds the frame steady until she chooses to step into it on her own. Let's not sugarcoat it. If you watched this far, you're done playing small. You're not chasing her approval anymore. You're leading with presence, not noise. What we exposed wasn't just her patterns. It was your power slipping through people-pleasing. No more. Rewatch this. Let it hit where it hurts. Then move like a man who doesn't flinch. If this felt like a mirror, good. That's where growth begins. Subscribe if you're done being forgettable. This channel is for men who evolve, quietly, powerfully, permanently. Speak less, hold more power, and remember, her chaos dies in your calm.